Well, we made it this far, so don't give up. It is Friday. The weekend is coming. And Friday version of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie coming your way right now on EWTN Radio. I'm Jerry Usher, along with Debbie Georgiani and you, the Take Two family. And we know you are going to have some people you want to call in and share with the world your hidden heroes today, Debbie. I'm looking forward to this.
I am as well, Jerry, but you said something a little bit off there. Okay, we're not at the weekend yet. We can't let our listeners start their weekend yet until they call in, okay? It's part of the requirement. Wouldn't you say, no, you have to call in first, then you can start your weekend. And
Right.
Here's the number. We have these very strict rules here at Take Two. 833-288-3986. And then you can start your weekend. So please call in and share with us who's your hidden hero, that unsung hero, that person that doesn't want attention, that just is so selfless and serves others, you know, in just an abundant way. And they don't want the light shined on them. They don't want that attention, but you want to give them that attention today on a global platform. How beautiful would that be? What a beautiful gift, and what a great way to start the weekend. I think it is anyway. Please join us, 833-288-3986.
Well, and there's a great song most of us know that would fit this topic today, and that is Wind Beneath My Wings. And we want to know, who's the wind beneath your wings? Is it your spouse? Maybe you are... Maybe you're, in some kind of a public eye. You're a teacher, or first responder or something, and you've got that spouse back home that is just waiting there, sends you off in the morning, and is waiting for you at the end of the day, and they're just your rock, your support, and you want to just mention them on the worldwide stage today. You can do that. The number is 833-288-3986.
We really need you to think about it for a minute, but join in, because we know these kinds of topics will be very popular. And so about midway through the show, you're going to say, oh, I want to highlight so-and-so. And it's going to be too late. I'm just telling you, because Ryan's ready to answer your call right now. So as we always say, and I'll say it a couple more times, don't get started with your weekend yet until you participate. 833-288-3986. And I've got some exciting news, Jerry. Go ahead.
Okay, well, you want to share it now? Or?
Oh, yeah. Well, I woke up it's Friday. What can I say? It's Friday, Jerry. You know what? This is what you have to put up with from me on Fridays. Every Friday, I'm like,
I'm used to it.
I know you are. Thank you. You're so kind. Is it part of your, do you offer it up as part of your purgatory?
Well, I would say that, but then that would strip it of all the graces that are involved in it, so...
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Okay, so I woke up this morning to a bunch of text messages going off. Everybody knows that I studied angels for many, many years, and all these text messages were going off. At first, my heart, stopped, and I'm thinking, oh, did my mother pass away? Did something happen? And it turns out, and we just got confirmation right before we started the show, Michael Birchfield, our producer, also works on the Morning Glory team. Apparently, Deacon Harold did a wonderful job talking about angels this morning on Morning Glory. And so I got all these text messages saying, what is that book club you were talking about? What is that? What was that book club? So I'm so excited to share. And I love when angels are talked about. I think it's wonderful to develop the relationship with your angels and guardian angels specifically. But yes, we have the book going right now. It's 7 days into it. Gigi is our facilitator for the Inspired by Faith Book and Fellowship Club. And all you have to do is go to standtalltoday.com. Click on the book tab, and you'll see the book. You can order it there. It's at EWTNRC.com. It's Angels and Devils by Joan Carol Cruz. It is a phenomenal book. If you want to deepen your relationship with the angels, understand them better, have that kind of a deeper study of it, she did a great job, the late Joan Carol Cruz. Angels and Devils, go to standtalltoday.com. And Jerry, that's also the place where people can get free consultations for coaching.
That's right. Our life coaching team is growing by the month, and like Debbie said, a consultation is absolutely free, and you can see if life coaching is something that would give you a hand. So again, that's at standtalltoday.com. I want to mention something too. If you were completed with mentioning the Deacon Harold talking about angels, were you done?
I am. Yeah, no, I'm good. He did a great job, by the way. I understand from the text messages. I'll have to go back and listen, but that's awesome. I just love when angels or spoken about. Go ahead.
Well, we got a beautiful email this morning. It says, "Hi, Jerry and Debbie. I had the blessing of visiting the Shrine of the North American Martyrs Wednesday and prayed for all who were on the M&M tour. What a blessing those days and hours were for us. Everything was locked, but the grounds are still holy grounds, and the memory of what was given and gained can never be erased." And that's from Heidi in Canada.
Beautiful, beautiful, Heidi. I know walking those grounds, as soon as you just read that message, Jerry, from Heidi, I was going back there as we were walking the grounds, and the tour guide said to us, this is where they shed their blood. This is where they were dragged around, somewhere, their bodies had crossed past these grounds. And I remember all of us at that point looking down, and we were like kind of stepping gingerly. Do you remember that, Jerry? And it was just, wow, sure. That was an experience. I highly recommend everyone visiting. It really is part of our Christian birthright, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're talking today, speaking of heroes, the saints, all of the saints are heroes. But if you have a hidden hero in your life, someone who is lives a simple, normal life and kind of is the one who encourages you and you can lean on, and they're your rock, and they're just the ones who support you without wanting any attention or notoriety, then that is what we want to hear from you about today. 833 288-3986, 833-288-EWTN. And I take a look, and we do have about 2 phone lines still open. So who is the wind beneath your wings? We want to hear about that today.
I love that song. That song always makes me cry. From the movie Beaches.
Yeah.
It's from the movie Beaches, I know. Wow. So we want to hear from you. To take a few minutes to think about that special person in your life that has inspired you, has impacted you for the better. You see what they do. They're Christ-like to all that they encounter, and it's just a beautiful thing. And they don't want any attention, but you want to give them that attention today. It's a wonderful gift, I think. So please call in at 1-833-288-3986. I'm excited, Jerry, to see what folks have to say about those servant souls that are out there helping others, Jerry.
Amen. And we will start with Lisa and Nancy when we come back. There is a line waiting for you to talk about your hidden hero at 833-288-3986.
Looking for a 2020 view on how Catholics are voting in the upcoming election? EWTN News and Real Clear Opinion Research are partnering to bring you clear and concise data on where the nation stands on issues, candidates, policies, and more by surveying Americans, including Catholics like you. And it's available now at EWTNnews.com/poll.
Coming up later today on Cresta in the Afternoon.
It's been 75 years since atomic bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Were the bombings morally justified? Can we compare the devastation and loss of life from the bombs to a potential loss of life from a land invasion of Japan? Father Bill Miscampbell joins us as we break down Truman's most controversial decision.
Cresta in the Afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
EWTN, teaching the truth.
I love your show. I was raised in a Southern Baptist environment, in and out of church since I was a teenager. But since listening to your show the last several months, I'm in the process of converting to Catholicism.
Ever since I started listening, I've been learning a lot, and I've been very intrigued by some of the things you guys discuss. I want to learn more, and I have a thirst for learning.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
We certainly need more heroes in the world today, and we want you to spotlight your hidden hero in your life. So please call in at 1-833-288-3986. This is your show, Take Two, with Jerry and Debbie and you. Real quickly, Jerry, before we go to the phones, I just wanted to, shine the spotlight a little bit for our listeners on about Word on Fire. It's Sunday afternoons, 4 Eastern Time. This week, Bishop Barron Karen asks the question, how do we share the faith in a culture where many people don't understand what we mean by words like sin or salvation, and where the media constantly bombards us with the idea that the teachings of the church are irrelevant, outdated, or bigoted? Wow, that's going to be a really interesting presentation he's going to give on Sunday. So check it out, folks. Word on Fire Sunday afternoon, 4 Eastern Time.
Beautiful. Well, Debbie, before we go to the phones, we should probably share a hidden hero in our lives. You want to go first on that?
Okay, so of course I would say my mom, Connie. She's amazing, and she's never ever. See, I get emotional thinking about it. She's such a strong woman. She's so spiritual, and she never ever asked for any, thank yous or glory or anything. And so I just love her to pieces. And she's still such a strong soul. She sleeps 22 hours out of 24 hours of the day, but she's hanging in there. This strong
lucky.
and she. Yeah, really. Mom, can we trade places? Yeah. But true. But she's just a beautiful, beautiful soul. But I would have to say, for someone who's active in my life, because my mom's sleeping most of the day, my husband, Marty, definitely that unsung hero. Marty jumped into my family. My family's not the easiest family to jump into. We are we're very, strong-willed, free-spirited, it's a big, big family. And Marty jumped right in and quickly took care of my dad the last 2 years of his life. And my dad absolutely fell in love with him. I never saw my dad really grab any of us by the face and kind of give us a kiss on the cheek, but he did that with Marty before he died. And
wow,
it was really beautiful. Yeah. And then now my Marty has been jumping in and taking care of my mom, who my mom just absolutely loves him for 10 years, and he's never said no. He's never wanted any attention, and he's a really good guy, and I'm very, very blessed. So don't get me started. It's Friday. I'm a mess. Go ahead, Jerry.
Well, I know what you mean about both your mom and Marty. Definitely Marty. I know him better than your mom, and he is absolutely a hidden hero and the wind beneath your wings. And I would say for me, it is a friend who's actually my housemate. We've known each other for about 20 years or so, and I've had a couple of very difficult periods in my life with depression and things like that, and he has been there with me and for me, and I would ask people to say a little prayer for him. His name is Harvey. He'll be a very young, spry, 88 years old 1 month from today. So we have a great friendship. We love the companionship that we have in the house, and we have our little dog Duke. And so Harvey's listening to the radio show right now. He listens every day. Debbie, before each show, he says, "What's your topic today?" And I tell him, and then I come out and he says, "That show is really interesting." But he's a simple. Not simpleton, but a very simple, humble, holy man of God. I love sharing our Catholic faith together. So definitely that would be my hidden hero.
Oh, and that's a very good hidden hero, and he's one of mine as well. I absolutely love Harvey. I absolutely love him. I tell you that all the time, Jerry. I'm always praying for him that he stays strong, and I just love the way when every time I get to talk to him and he'll say my name, I just brighten up. He just has that spirit, and so Harvey, I know you're listening. We love you. We love you so very, very much. It's good to spread the love, wouldn't you say, Jerry?
It is. It is, and that's what we're asking you to do today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Your hidden hero is, will you fill in that gap and tell us a little bit about that individual in your life and why they are such an important part of your life, and really almost from the background, if you will. 833-288-3986. We'll get started, as promised, with Lisa in Whippany, New Jersey, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Lisa. Welcome to Take Two.
Hello. How are you?
Doing just fine. Better now that you called.
Yeah, but Lisa, you got to do me this favor, okay? See, you're from Whippany, New Jersey. That's close to where I grew up in West Caldwell. Would you please affirm for Jerry that we have the best pizza in New Jersey, Lisa? Please.
Absolutely.
Thank you. See?
Yeah, not a lot of people know where Whippany is, so that's nice to hear.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Well, okay. Lisa, the gift certificate for a pizza's in the mail, okay?
Okay. Sounds good.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so I adopted my daughter when she was 14 as a single mom. I'm a single mom, and I adopted through Bethany Christian Services, which is a national adoption refugee assistance agency. So they do birth adoptions, and they do adoptions of older children out of foster care, which is a smaller part of what they do, but a really important one. And so my social worker from Bethany, who assisted with matching me with my daughter, has been like an extension of my family. So she, Bethany believes that children belong in families, and so do I. And so, but it's not easy having an instant daughter. It wasn't easy for my daughter, and it wasn't easy for me. There's lots of joys and lots of challenges of adjustment. And I'll call her Iris, the social worker, who just has stayed with me. I still talk to her 2 or 3 times a week, text, anything from a crisis when maybe there was an issue that required going to the emergency room, to the joys and celebrations of my daughter's color guard performances, and all that comes with high school. Iris is just somebody who is in the trenches, visiting families, working with birth mothers, working with adoptive families like me, in it every day, day in, day out. And it's just unbelievable to me, her commitment. She would kill me if she knew I were on the phone with you right now. So I hope she's not on a drive to a family listening and hearing me, because she's going to call me up and scream at me for doing it, because that's the way she likes to be in the background. And she's so generous to so many people, me included. She always has time for me. And it's just amazing how people like that they just really live sort of that sacrificial love of Christ.
And so Iris is not her real name, correct? You're using that for the purposes.
No, I don't want to identify her. Yeah. I feel like if I say more, she would be pretty identifiable.
Right. But if she is listening, Iris, see how beautiful that is. I just want to say something. When somebody will journey with you and stay with you, when maybe they don't necessarily have to, but they do, and they stay connected, that shows their Christ-like heart. That it's really that simple, but that profound. When somebody will do that, and we know that, don't we? Instantly know that, Lisa and Jerry. We know that when we can sense when somebody is very authentic, when they genuinely care, and we feel that is an element, a facet of God's love. And you shared that so beautifully, Lisa. Anything else you'd like to share on that?
Well, just when my situation is somewhat unique. There's not a lot of us. There's not a lot of older child adoptions, in any given year. And sometimes the challenge is when friends may say, "Well, that's just a teenager. That's just this." It's really much more complex than that. And Iris was with me when to help counter that. That it's sometimes you need somebody who just has some insight into the uniqueness of your situation, to not minimize how challenging it is. And then also when the joys came around, she was always there with us celebrating, because she knew how hard won so many of the successes were. Most social workers will work with an adoptive family, and depending on the relationship, may or may not stay in touch or send a Christmas card with a photo. But she's really stayed with us through the journey, and I think she's such a part of it, and I think she wants to see, the good ending, not the good ending, but I hope so, but as the adjustments continue to take hold and my daughter continues to really understand what it means to have a family, I think she's really, Iris wants to be a part of those joys as well. They've been so hard won, and she's been such a part of them with us.
Yeah. Lisa, I would just add a couple of things. I would have to believe that your daughter, you're her hero at this point, because of all the love and the home that you're giving her and everything. And I will simply say what Debbie alluded to. I had these notes written down already before Debbie said it. And that is, Iris could have approached it as a business transaction, if you will. It sounds kind of cold, but, if their job is to place children, she could have just done the paperwork and said, okay, that job is done. I'll move on to this other one over here. But she was and remains personally emotionally invested. And that's a true hero right there, Debbie and Lisa, I really believe.
I completely agree. And as you were speaking, Lisa, and as Jerry just commented, I came up, I don't know how often you listen to the show, but I come up with these virtual awards. Okay. I feel very passionate about them. And so I just came up with this award. And so please let Iris know that she is the recipient of our virtual Take Two Hero Award. It's a very unique award.
Wow.
But there you go.
I'm
So
gonna
we're
tell
going
her.
Yes, please do. We're going to be giving them out a lot today, but she got the first one. So we only have a limited supply, though, but she got the first one.
Wonderful. Well, she's the woman who, people I'm sure remember when they give birth to their children, but she's the one, in my eyes that put my daughter into my arms. She was a bigger girl, but that really is what she means to me, representing the people who really live the Bethany mission, and it's just incredibly beautiful. So, and I, thank you so much for taking my call. Any chance that I have an opportunity to sort of evangelize for older children in need of families and the good work that so many organizations are doing to give children homes and a better chance at life than they would have if they were to age out of foster care. So I really appreciate your giving me an opportunity to speak to that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Lisa. And you can call anytime, anything you want to share, updates or anything. We're a family and we journey together, and we've been doing this for 5+ years. And so we really mean what we say. And so anytime you feel, that there's something you want to bring out to the global platform, call us. Okay. Ryan's usually there answering the phone. He's there morning, noon, and night. Don't worry about it, Lisa.
I will. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks, Lisa.
Bless you and your daughter, and
Have a
blessings for Iris as well. Yeah.
Now she can get some pizza. Now she can start the weekend.
Our dial-in number is 833-288-3986. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and we're talking today about who is your hidden hero. And Nancy in Spencer, Massachusetts is our Nancy that we know so well, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Nancy. How are you?
I'm fine, very much, thank you. And I hope the two of you are well. I'm about to blow away Debbie by telling her that she is my virtual hero, mentally and spiritually.
Oh, wow, Nancy, way to make me cry. Thank you so much. I
never forgot meeting you and Jerry at Stockbridge, and I listened to this program all the time. And the last time we talked, you asked if I would read a small poem, much shorter than I usually write, that I have in my notebooks. And this is dedicated to you.
Wow. Okay.
May I read it?
Yes, please. I
Absolutely.
can't wait. Yes, thank you.
It's called Generosity. Have you been touched by generosity lately? When someone is kind and ever so stately, in the state of warmth and discernment, to touch your heart with sure allurement, enticing a thought warm and true about generosity through and through. Straight to the heart it does touch when you feel so good and love much. Much love you can plant in a corner somewhere when at times you feel no one does care. But care he does in his providence providing to help us unite rather than seek dividing. Dividing our burdens as they are shared, and that's you, my dear, and seeking out someone who cared enough to listen and to hear what was said, in return gave peace instead. Instead of turmoil you suffered so long when you thought it brave or even strong. But strength came in letting go of the fears and the guilt deep below. Yet above those fears arose strength and gain for honestly living out our deepest pain. But not in a sense of pity or crying, but by being yourself and only trying. Trying to meet those you can with joy, whose wisdom we seek and gain and employ. For we all need guidance, direction, and sight to lead a good life and fight the good fight.
Nancy, if I can ask you to pause right there just for a second. I don't know if you were done yet, but this is absolutely beautiful, and I'm jumping in here because Debbie's a mess right now. You're making her feel so loved and so appreciated, and you hear that music. We cannot move this little break that we have right here because the station's affiliates do some important announcements and so forth, but we will get right back to you, Nancy, and let's all be joining in prayer together that Debbie will be able to get a few words out when we come back. Stay with us.
Mother Angelica.
We have to get back into our hearts and minds the value of life. If you don't care about the unborn, I don't think you're going to care about the elderly.
The leading Catholic voices are on EWTN Radio.
Prayer has been so powerful in my communication with God, understanding the church better, most importantly, understanding the Lord better, and myself better. I heard it said once that God answers knee-mail, as in Knee. Prayer is powerful. One of the favorite things I love to do when it comes to prayer is to ask for the intercession of the great saints. Try it sometime. You'll be very, very impressed and surprised by the amazing power of prayer.
Father Benedict Rochelle.
Brothers and sisters, we got to tell the truth in this country. For heaven's sakes, I wouldn't want to go to a synagogue and find that they were having a Muslim service. I wouldn't want to go to a mosque and run into a Baptist service. I don't want to go to a Baptist church and find out that they're having Mass. We've got to be honest to ourselves. We've got to be what we are. I'd rather a good old-fashioned, honest agnostic than a phony Christian any day of the week. There are reluctant agnostics. There are atheists who are searching for God, and they may find him. But somebody who says they're doing something in the name of God, in the name of Christ, and God and Christ have nothing to do with it, is violating this commandment. I am the Lord your God. You shall not take my name in vain.
The people you know and trust are on EWTN.
I'm Gloria Purvis.
And I'm Deacon Harold. The Morning Glory team asks, what will your parish look like in 10 years?
Monday morning, 7 Eastern. Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
This is your show. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN. And we're visiting with Nancy in Spencer, Mass. And Nancy, I hated so much to do that. Your poem is absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you were done or if you want to please finish the rest of that. But
I have 4 more phrases,
okay,
and it's the whammy of the whole thing.
Oh, good. So we did this crescendo type thing. Go ahead.
Yes, you did.
Wow.
So let us thank him for each one to us he sends, who says, come here, my ear I'll lend. And we will have been generally touched generously in realizing that we're somebody and loved much.
Wow.
That's it.
Debbie, are you up to it?
Yes, I tried to. Thank goodness we had the break, Nancy, because I was able to get some Kleenex and try to regain my composure. I just wanted to say, Nancy, thank you so much. You have been given tremendous gifts by God in the beautiful poems that you write from your heart that really capture a deeper meaning as you enter into the every line of your poems. And I just want to say, I did not know that you felt that. I mean, I knew you loved. I knew you sent me a lot of love, and I hopefully I sent you a lot of love back. But I never knew that. And I just wanted to say thank you so much, because it probably comes at the best time of my life. And I don't think there's any accident with that. And I just want to say, Nancy, thank you for being the beautiful soul that you are, because you're very special in my heart.
Well, we're kindred spirits, my dear. I'm a 2-time cancer survivor as well.
That's wonderful.
And I'd love to start an email correspondence with you.
Absolutely. Okay, I have your contact information, Nancy. We'll pick up after the show. Okay.
Well, I didn't intend to make you cry, but I'm sure it's the joy of the Holy Spirit.
Yes, it was a good cry.
And the joy that you give.
Thank you.
That's all I'll say.
Thank you. Love you, Nancy. Love you so much.
And Jerry, I love you too.
I love you too, Nancy. And I told you this before. I still have the binder full of your poems right on my head, right next to my bed, I should say. And every now and then I pick that up and read through it, and I just pick one at random, and it's usually exactly what I need for that moment. So you are, as Debbie said, you're tremendously gifted. Please don't stop doing that, and don't stop spreading your joy and love through your poetry, Nancy.
Well, thank you for the encouragement, and I love you both.
God bless you. Love you too.
And thank you for granting me this much time on the radio.
Well, you're welcome. We're gonna let you go on that because we have a few others, but keep listening, Nancy, because we got this beautiful email that I'm going to read. Okay, so I want to give you a second to hang up, and hopefully you've got. Well, look at that. Someone's calling me, and I don't recognize the number, so there you go. But this is from Nancy. Barbara just emailed us. And she says, "Oh, my goodness, I started crying as soon as this poem was being read. How beautiful and moving. I will never forget that special moment meeting Debbie up at St. Kateri Shrine in Fonda and having the honor of being on the Eucharistic bench next to her. It was a lovely moment I will always cherish. Thank you both for your show and for helping everyone." That's from Barbara, Debbie.
Oh, thank you so much, Barbara. Wow, Nancy, see how your poetry is spreading, and it's just a beautiful thing. And that's God. That's God, showing himself through the gifts of others and that he's given, but that you are using and utilizing. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Barb, as well. Wow, this is turning into one beautiful conversation about heroes. I never thought I would be the recipient of the Take Two Hero Award, but I'm glad I started it.
Well, yeah, and this is very humbling. Our dear friend Ron in Los Angeles, he says, "My hero, you. Wish I could express in person how your prayers and more have helped me. God be with you and Deb." So,
oh,
Ron,
thank you, Ron.
Yeah, thank you, Ron.
Beautiful.
Okay, we want to get to. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and I thought it was so beautiful the way Nancy said, and Jerry, I love you too. And I think it's beautiful because as the Take Two family, as you know, Jerry and I come as a package deal. And so if you care about me, you care about Jerry, and it goes that way. And because we're a family, right, Jerry?
Yeah. We are, and you are all part of the family, including Paul, who is calling from Butler, Missouri, listening on Catholic Radio Network. Hello, Paul. Welcome to the program.
How you doing today?
Great now. How are you?
I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
That's the only way to be.
That's right.
So who is your hidden hero, Paul?
Well, actually, I have two, and as I was telling your producer, it was one that led me to the other. And now I know this is going to sound a little strange, but first of all, besides people, there's what they call God's creatures. And how would you say, I had a working dog. Her name was Medusa. She was my working dog because not only was she a pet, but she worked with me when I was working for the state of Missouri. But anyway, when it came to my personal life and, I tried seeing people and all that, she just didn't like anybody that I would bring home for her to meet, snarl, growl, and all that. And it was just frustrating. Well, to roundabout one day, I'm at work, and a new girl had started in with our company, and she was kind of like a runner who would, like, bring paperwork and discuss things that had to be done and so forth. Well, she came into the office one day, and I didn't have Medusa actually put up, because usually she was kind of stayed by my desk when I was at the office. And, well, anyway, she came in, and I thought, okay, here we go. Well, didn't, no growling, no snarling, just kind of looking her up and down. And then after about 5 minutes, as we were into a conversation about some paperwork, she actually got up, walked over, and kind of leaned against this lady. And for her, that's her saying, hey, I'm going to let you pet me. And I was like, wow, that's pretty unusual. So, didn't think too much of it. But then, as the days go by, she kept coming over, with reports and stuff like that. Medusa would always get up and come to her and actually started wagging her tail as she would come here. And I thought to myself, boy, this is the strangest thing. But I didn't think of this lady as anyone, as far as just a working person. Well, then one day we were going over some paperwork, and then I had a phone call that I had to take. And I was on the phone for almost a half hour. And when I hung up, I looked over, and no one was in the office with me. And I heard the TV in the other room going, which we had like a little break room back there. I walked in the back room, and there they are, laying on the couch watching TV, laying with each other. And Medusa kind of looked up to me like I like her and smiled at me. And I'm like, that is the craziest thing. Well, and I explained this to this lady who is now my wife. Her name's Vanessa. And how would you say I explained it to her? And she was saying the same thing. Well, she wasn't really looking for anybody. And we kind of laughed at it. And next, one thing led to another. And it was like, okay, hey, I'm going out to lunch. You want to come with? And she said, sure. Started going out to lunch together. Then lunches turned to dinners. Next, we got married 2 years later. And how would you say, knowing Vanessa, her weaknesses are my strengths, and my weaknesses are her strengths. You know how we mesh together. And you know how someone will always say, this is my other half? I don't say that about my wife. I say she's my better half.
Right.
And but let me tell you, she, Medusa gave the okay and introduced me to my wife. And then shortly after we got married, Medusa passed away. But it's just one of those where, as unusual as it sounds, it was the love of an animal that, I don't know if she knew she was going to be gone or what, but she found someone that she thought she trusted would be okay for me. And it turns out Vanessa she's my rock now.
Wow.
And I'm a pretty strong guy for a lot of things, but sometimes if I get a little frustrated, she's right there for me to pick me up. And, I couldn't be more grateful.
Wow. I'll tell you, Paul, this is what an amazing, beautiful story. And you're right. You started off by saying, it's not just people that can be our heroes, but God's creatures as well. And I think so many of us who own pets, I can tell the story of how Duke came to our house, and absolutely beautiful. But I won't take the time to do that right now. But and I love what you said. It's almost like Medusa kind of knew. Pets have these instincts, and dogs in particular. Maybe they're not all as smart as Lassie, but, it sounds like Medusa was really, really on the ball with this one. And Debbie, this is, what a beautiful way to enter into a relationship.
I think it's wonderful. And I just wanted to say, Paul, there's a lot of saints that were very close to their animals. I mean, you look at St. Francis of Assisi, but there's a lot of saints. I think it was, who was it? Saint John Bosco. Is that it? Is that the right one I was thinking of, that had the pet that it was like the guardian angel was working through their pet? I believe so. I'd have to go back and look at my notes on that. And but there's a lot of saints that Jerry tapped into something very key. the saints knew that God's creations, God's creatures, right? They're being authentically what they were created to be. And God can use that to and work through that to get to us, his children. And so I don't see anything odd about that at all. I think it's actually quite beautiful. And it's very similar. I mean, you got your dog, Medusa, that did a beautiful job matchmaking, right? Okay. And then you've got like Nancy in her poetry. God's using that to reach other people. It's the ultimate thing that I think is the most wonderful, comforting thing is to know that God is always trying to tap us and reach us, connect us, inspire us, move us along that journey. And I think you absolutely recognize that with Medusa's role in bringing you and your wife together. Did I sum that up okay?
And if you had ever known Medusa, she was an English mastiff at 170 pounds. So talk about intimidating.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting. You know, if for fun, you may want to go into you can even internet search it. The saints, the Catholic saints that were very close to their pets. I would very much. It's fascinating. It's an interesting part, and you can learn a lot about unconditional love and what it means to be, to be your authentic self, how you were created, and your beautiful dog Medusa was being. Her authentic self. And I agree with Jerry. The instincts take over and things happen, and it turns out for the good. I love it, Paul.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing.
Yep. Well, I thought you all would find that a little interesting.
Very interesting.
Absolutely, Paul. What a beautiful story, and we wish you well, you and your wife. We just pray that blessings continue, and maybe God will bring you another Medusa to share your lives with someday. Who knows? So,
actually, that did happen. My wife found an English Mastiff for me just 2 years ago, who was actually born on Christmas Day.
Is that right?
And why the wife was so intrigued about getting her is that, believe this or not, the lady that raised Mastiffs, she would always pick a letter out of the alphabet to name all of the pups while she was taking care of them. This was the M litter.
Oh,
take a guess
wow.
what name she had picked for this puppy.
Oh, no way.
Medusa.
I am not kidding. I am not kidding. She called her Medusa, and she was torn between either letting Medusa go or she had another one called Maleficent. And she finally decided she was going to keep Maleficent, and she wanted to let go of Medusa. And my wife jumped on it. And my wife surprised me with it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a sign.
So there you go. You see how things kind of go in a circle. They come around again.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Paul, a dear Take Two family member real quickly just shot me a text and said, yes, Debbie, it is St. John Bosco. And all you have to do is internet search it. You just have to say St. John Bosco and animals. And up comes the story, St. John Bosco and the mysterious dog who protected him. So see, it's very interesting how the saints were very close to the God's creatures that are around us. I think it's wow. That was a sign that Paul got, don't you think?
No kidding. Yeah, no kidding. Thanks a lot, Paul, again for the call. We appreciate that. Want to just remind everybody that EWTN Publishing puts out some great materials, and here's one that I think you really want to have your eye on and order and get this a copy of Overcoming the Evil Within by Father Wade Menezes. He reflects on the reality of nature, the horror of sin, what fear of the Lord really means, the 4 consequences of every sinful act, and much, much more. It's Overcoming the Evil Within by Father Wade Menezes, available now at EWTNRC.com. Buy Catholic, shop EWTNRC.com.
And Jerry, since you have that document up on the screen, could you please run down some of the comments we're getting on Facebook and YouTube? Because our producer, Michael, said they are stacking up very fast.
Yeah, Lois, our dear friend Lois. Oh, I didn't read this ahead of time. She says, Debbie Georgiani and Jerry Escher are my hidden heroes. God bless you both.
Oh, thanks, Lois.
I promise, folks, I didn't read that ahead of time. I probably would have skipped over it. Lois, thank you.
Lois wanted you to share it.
Yeah,
thank you,
thanks, Lois. Kay said, my dad, Don, who was such an embodiment of St. Joseph, miss him so much. Two ladies in our local parishes who are definitely a great combination of Mary and Martha. One is Kathleen, who recently passed to her eternal reward, and the other is Jerry, who thankfully still here to be a great example. And one other one, Stacy on YouTube, says, I think my great aunt, she did everything from being a wife to a nun and everything in between. She moved to France as a single woman, worked in the prisons, and always spoke to me about the good people that are behind bars. She has not yet been called home, but I know she is already a saint. She always spoke the truth no matter what. No matter who disagreed with her. She would speak about the meaning of life and love, dignity and respect. She celebrates the everyday miracles God gives us at real inspiration, and that is Stacy talking about her great aunt.
Okay, and two more. Peg says she just weighed in by a message on Facebook. There's been a rough week. Her 42-year-old, my 42-year-old is in a nursing home and confined for 5 months. No end in sight, and she wants prayers for all the caregivers at the nursing homes. Oh, absolutely, Peg. I hope I read that correctly. It was just put up there, and I want to make sure that we at least be praying for that. Did you comment on Cheryl?
I did not yet. No.
Oh, Father Frank Pavone from Priests for Life is Cheryl's hero. We agree with that, Cheryl. We love Father Frank Pavone. Very good. He does great ministry work.
Yeah. Okay, we got several more calls. We're going to get to all of you, hopefully, here in the order in which you call. That means Diane is next in Denver, Colorado, listening on Catholic Radio Network. Hi, Diane. Welcome to Take Two.
Hi, Jerry and Debbie. How are you?
Doing great this Friday. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yes, I'd just like to let you know my hidden hero is my younger sister, Annette Velasquez, who I consider my spiritual director. She's always there for me no matter what I'm going through in my life. And I'm so grateful to have her in my life.
Oh, well, your sister Annette gets she's the recipient of the virtual Take Two Hero Award. And I think it's wonderful when siblings step up and acknowledge their brothers and sisters, that they, are in the same family. So many times families are very disconnected. People have gone their separate ways. But when you acknowledge that, I think it gives hope for all of us that families can be close and we can admire one another and look to them as heroes. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you. I always tell her jokingly, Debbie, that everything she's going through now, she's going to be an angel. She's just amazing, and she's so patient, and she always has the right words at the right time for me. So I just wanted to share.
Well, Diane, if I may say something about you, you said it's your younger sister, correct?
Yes.
I think this points to a certain humility within you, because obviously we kind of think that the older ones, the older siblings, are going to be the wise ones. They've learned more than I have, and this and that. But for you, you're not looking at this in terms of age or anything. You're looking at what she has, the gifts that God has given her, and you are humble enough to go to your younger sister and say, "Hey, can you help me out here?" And so I think there's something very beautiful about you too, Diane.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Oh, thank you. Thank you both.
Aw,
Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.
Thanks,
too.
Diane. Save this broadcast, and then you can play it for your sister anytime, like as an added gift.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Diane.
Okay.
All the shows, Debbie, we should mention, are available at take2show.com. Our good producer, Michael Birchfield, gets them up there, take2show.com. Boy, there's a lot of archive shows there. So
yeah, Michael's very fast, too. He gets everything up there. He's so tech savvy. He knows how to just couple taps on the keyboard, and it's off and running.
Yeah, absolutely.
The rest of us, it would take forever. Not for Michael, so that's good. Real quickly, before we get ready to close this broadcast in a couple minutes, just real quickly, please, we invite you to join us and like us on Jerry and Debbie Facebook page. We're going to be doing some spotlight interviews and continue this, recognizing heroes. It's really a wonderful way to bring us together. So just go to Jerry and Debbie Facebook page, just like us, and then you'll stay current with us on things that we're doing, which is kind of fun.
Indeed. Gene in Youngstown, Ohio, Living Bread Radio. Hi, Gene. Welcome to the program.
Good morning or good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I want to talk about my wife, who's she is 2 years older than me, and we've been married for 25 years. And she's been taking care of my mother-in-law for about 35 years. And my mother-in-law just passed on the 12th of June, at the age of 95. And she's a very good woman, my wife. Are you there?
Yeah, we are here, and that I love to hear, and so many people do this. It's not like it's uncommon, but to hear when children are taking care of their parents, when the parents are older, it's kind of interesting how life begins the other way around. The parents do everything that the kids need and raise them and care for them and love them and feed them, and then it comes back around. Yeah, go ahead.
And I got to admit that sometimes during all this time, I was a little selfish. And there were times where I felt like my wife loved her mother more than she did me, and I knew that's not true. But sometimes we feel that way.
Yeah.
And it's wrong, and I feel guilty about that. But now, and the funniest thing, when we first got married, my wife was a Methodist at the time. And I talked to my priest friend at the time, and his response to me was, "Don't worry, we stopped burning the Methodists years ago."
Oh, gosh.
Wow. Well, Jean, is this your mother-in-law that passed? Can we have her first name to put her in the book?
Marjorie.
Okay, and real quickly, I just wanted to say, Jean, you said you feel a little bit guilty about that. You shared that today, and I'm sure you've shared that, with your wife, that you feel like maybe you weren't, 100% in on helping and everything. And that's the beauty of us recognizing the things that we could have done better. And so I would just encourage you to express that, and you did that globally today. So now go forward, because I think that's what God calls us to do. Okay.
And I myself, I am legally blind, and my wife takes care of me too.
Oh, she is a hero. That's awesome.
She's and you talk about dogs. I have a little dog, a little miniature dachshund. His name is George. And when I need to go to the mailbox, I can find my way to the mailbox. But getting home, all I do is put George down on the ground and say, "Okay, George, take me home," and he takes me home.
Wow.
Oh, I love it.
That is beautiful.
Well, tell your beautiful wife she's the recipient of the virtual Take Two Hero Award today. Okay, Jean?
Thank you. God bless you. Have a great day.
Thank you,
God
Jean.
bless you. Ron in Los Angeles, we are going to be out of time here in a second. He wanted to say that I am his hero, Ron. I am humbled by that. You're actually a hero to me as well, because you've seen your mother pass a couple years ago. Your father is in an assisted living home right now, and you deal with a lot of health issues. So, Ron, I read your text earlier, actually, on the air. So I am humbled and grateful that you would consider me worthy of being your hero. I wish we had time to get you on the air, but we're going to run out here in just a minute, and we've got to mention. Go ahead, Debbie.
And I was just going to say, Ron, thank you for doing that, because, see, I got the Virtual Hero Award. So, Jerry, you are the recipient of the Virtual Take Two Hero Award today. Thank you, Ron, for doing that. You made his day. Okay. Jerry, we got to talk about prayer and fasting, intense prayer and fasting. It's a First Friday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's First Friday, folks. The world is a mess, but you know what? That shouldn't shake our faith. It shouldn't shake our hope, and it should increase our charity. Jesus Christ is still on the throne, and he is still answering prayers and providing miracles, and prayers coupled with fasting, real, true fasting. So several weeks ago, encouraged by some listeners, Debbie and I decided to take on some intense fasting and prayer on Wednesdays and Fridays, whatever that means for you, but we really want to make it a sacrifice so that we can hopefully move the heart of God to bring about true conversion and restoration in our country and around the world. So please, it's First Friday, so let's remember that. Let's all be in prayer and fasting today.
Absolutely. Monday is our In the News show. So if you bring some current news events that kind of get missed by the mainstream media, we want to bring them to your attention on Take Two on Monday. Mary Beth, thank you so much sending that text. We love you back. Thank you very much. This was a great show. Okay, now you all can start your weekend. Okay, have a beautiful and blessed weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
Dr. Ray Guarendi, making your parenting more fit, making your kids have less